This is something that I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
It's and like the thing comes down to, the base of it is crooked cops and maybe lawyers and judges that make people feel like they're not getting the full benefit of the society we live in, right?
Yeah.
Julian said that earlier.
Yep.
And I think somebody made this point, which I thought was really smart. Like, we're not saying all cops. Obviously, there are a lot of great cops, and there's also bad cops. It's like, if an antibiotic came on the market and it didn't work, we're like, hey man, we should not sell that antibiotic. It doesn't work the way it's supposed to. We're not saying antibiotics suck,
Right.
We don't talk about when stuff is good because we're just like, this is the way it should be, right?
Yeah.
And cops get a lot of love from a lot of people. When you say, hey,
I
man,
found that more people are getting flack for actually showing appreciation for police. They're like, hey, thank you, officer. Like, don't thank that officer. Fuck the police.
It's kind of a shitty thing to do.
Yeah.
And it's weird, kind of this dichotomy that we have within society right now, where you have yes, there are crooked cops, but I know a lot of cops. And they are all really awesome people.
Yeah.
And so I've never had a problem with the police, but I know people who have. And you look at cases like, the swimmer, like, Brock, the swimmer guy, and I think it was Brock Turner was his name. Excuse me, he's not a swimmer, he's a fucking rapist.
Oh, yeah.
Brock the rapist. And,
I think somebody put online there was like Brock Rape Ape Turner or something like that.
Right, something crazy like that. Which is true though, and that's the point, is like, if you take this and you look at the whole scheme of things, if you see this, like, 3% of cops are just shitballs, they're corrupt, they're backwards, they're racist, whatever, they were KKK members who infiltrated our law enforcement system, blah, 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 then, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, it is the responsibility of the rest, the 97% of good cops, to oust those people.
Yeah,
you don't, if something's happened, if I have a growth on my arm that is going to kill me in a day, I'm not going to sit here and just stare at it and be like, yeah, but it's my arm, and it's a really good arm, and it's part of my body, which is a really good body. Cut the fucking arm off already, dude.
Exactly.
Before it does poison the rest of you, which is kind of the problem there. And when I say, when I bring up, rapist Brock Turner, the big issue that I have there is the classism of it. Because it's not just a color thing. I don't want people to think that this is a black and white thing or a minority and white thing. The greatest deception that has ever been pulled is the elite, the super rich, have everything, don't need anything, oligarchical, masters of America, convincing the lower classes that they should be divided on racial lines.
Right, exactly.
And I don't know as much into this. My wife researches this, and she fully understands the whole history of the racist housing acts and the laws and what went into this, and the drug war and how it was, targeting minorities specifically, and blah blah blah. But all of these things the laws and the unjust cases are all targeted at poor people, black or white, and it just so happens black people get incarcerated way more and have way longer sentences, and that's where the injustice in the social justice systems comes in. That's where the systemic racism is. But systemic racism is not the first problem. The first problem is that battle line that has been drawn by elitism between poor whites and poor minorities, so that they will keep fighting each other, and none of them will look up. None of us will actually turn around to go, hey, wait a minute, I'm not throwing shit at you, and you're not throwing shit at me. All this shit is coming from up there.
Right.
Let's go up there and get those motherfuckers.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
No, that's exactly right. I think about that. So I've thought about this, and not maybe so much recently, but I remember being in the military, and I don't know, this is kind of weird to be saying this, I guess, but I remember listening to this rapper that some people may know, but a lot of people probably don't. His name is Immortal Technique, and he's from New York City, and he's like a socio-political, like politically conscious rapper. And he has this monologue on one of his albums, and he talks exactly about the class warfare, and he says, I have more in common with the poor white person who grew up in the trailer park than I do with the rich black man that drives a Mercedes Benz. And it's again, but it's like Trump, throws this stuff out to keep us about, and all of them, the Koch brothers, and even like George Soros, who a lot of liberal people like think is a great guy. It's all to keep people subservient, to keep them from growing. And the more we do stuff like that, and I don't think it's bad for us to talk about it, but the more we bicker about it, the less chance we have to do the stuff that really matters.
Absolutely. Focus on fixing the problem.
Yeah. And that's the thing, it's not like, sure, this lawmaker here, that lawmaker there may say, yeah, we have a problem with people kneeling, but it's the arguments that you see on Facebook and I hear in my restaurant that is really what is the biggest problem, because it doesn't affect any of them, but they think it does.
Yeah.
It's just this big trick that, rich people have used it, and if it's not this, it's something else.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and around the same time of Brock Turner's sentencing were all these other cases of young black men who were being given like 3 or 4 years for being caught with weed for the first time. It's like, really, they get 3 or 4 years while this guy raped somebody in an alley.
Yeah.
And he got 6 months and didn't even serve that entire sentence.
Yeah. Well, remember Affluenza too?
Yeah.
The fucking the super rich kid who killed an entire family in a car accident and got off with nothing. And it was his lawyer invented a disease. I'm pretty sure invented the disease like on the spot, called affluenza, where he was raised in an environment that was so rich that he never had consequences for anything. He didn't understand how his actions affected other people. Therefore, he shouldn't be held accountable for them.
Right.
And the judge fucking let him off on it.
Yeah.
Like,
well, after
that's
like
the
fleeing
shit.
the country and like evading arrest and
Yeah.
I can just imagine that
crazy.
judge though, like affluenza sounds legit, case closed.
Let's
like,
go. Yeah, we're done here.
Yeah. Time to go enjoy my martini.
Is that what judges drinks?
I would assume.
probably.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I would assume a judge that believed affluenza is a reason to get off of murder would drink martini.
Probably right before the case. Yeah, no doubt.
Right.
No, but I think you're exactly right, and I think that shows the main problem. And you alluded to this in what you were saying before, is the things that people talk about when we actually go outside and talk to each other. Yeah. That's where you connect with people, and that's the important shit. When you turn off Fox News and CNN and all these other, politically based, news broadcasts, and get away from even the local news now, which is all owned by like 2 corporations that have political ties, and all the newscasters are reading from the same scripts and shit when it doesn't, when it comes to national level stuff. It's all bullshit. Arguing over kneeling is bullshit. It's all being fed in, and then we ingest it from there, and it just poisons us. You go out and you talk to the people around you, and you find out that we're really all just kind of in this shit together, trying to make it. Yeah. And the people who have made it, for the most part, now there's good. I'm not saying, again, it's not all or nothing, right? It's not all rich people or something, but the point remains, kneeling for the anthem, in my opinion, is not disrespectful. What is disrespectful is that we have a Congress full of millionaires who continue to raise their own pay without raising the minimum wage to keep up with inflation, as our capitalism spirals out of control in this insane oligarchy that is designed around keeping the poor oppressed and consuming so that the rich can continue to get richer. And we still have, with all the wealth at the top and all the money that America spends every single year on bullshit, we have how many homeless veterans?
Too many.
Hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of homeless veterans. That's fucking disrespectful. And I met a dude for work this last week who's designing these collapsible greenhouses, is what they're initially for. And they collapse down into something that's like, it's like 18 inches tall, and you can load 45 of them on a truck, and you pick them up and you move them to a place and you set them down. It takes 10 minutes to set them up, and you have a fully functional house. You know, put a battery on it, put some solar panels next to it, and you've got power. Yeah. Right? Dig a well and you've got water. It's like in a day you could set up 150 of these in a neighborhood, and every homeless person has a place to live, right? Yeah. But we don't want to spend money on shit like that. We want to spend money on jets that don't work to go bomb brown people in other countries so that we can take their fucking oil. That's what we want to fucking do with all this money, and that's what's disrespectful, is that we're sending our military overseas to these places to fight wars against people who don't fucking matter when we have everything that we need to make society work here.
But Julian, you don't understand. We need Space Force.
We need Space Force. I would feel so much better if there was a laser satellite out there aimed at Putin's dick at all times. That's what I want.
You know it wouldn't be a laser, it'd just be a camera that the feed goes straight to Donald Trump's room. He's like, yep, there it is.
It just displays on his little Fitbit watch or whatever.
Fitbit.
The Fitbit watch.
Picks up the red phone. You're doing a great job trimming there, Putin.
Is that a triangle?
Who's your puke guy?
He might be the official Trump guy now. That was really good.
Damn it!
Is that
I don't want to be the official Trump anything.
Right. Oh God. Yeah. No. The idea is that if you support any police officer, then you obviously support the ones that are bad too. That idea I cannot follow through with. Yes, there are still guys playing in the NFL who have done bad shit, who have beaten their wives, who have fought dogs, have done all these numerous things. Yes, I love football, but at the same time, I don't support the guys making those choices. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like, you gotta... With all these different movements going on, everybody's just got to, like you said, sit down and talk to one another. Mm-hmm. The fact that everybody's hiding behind their phone and going, well, fuck you, you know,
right.
and sitting back, and there's nobody talking to them face to face going, what the fuck did you just say? Like, you realize that's stupid, right? They're sitting behind their phone and telling themselves, yep, that was smart, right? Everybody loves me. I'm the coolest guy.
That sounds great. I got 2 likes from people that I've never met.
Right. I got 3 guys in their parents' basement with rebel flags on the wall to love my status.
There you go.
I must be right. Mm-hmm. No, I
got 1 wow. Who are you, wow guy?
Could you imagine? Mom, I got a wow!
Meatloaf.
Meatloaf now.
Mom, meatloaf!
There's not potatoes up there when I get up there.
Celebrating my wow with Meatloaf. Jesus. I think that...
You want a water or a blue ribbon? I can get you something.
Sorry, that was really good. You touched on something I think is really important, though, which is the echo chamber.
Yeah.
Right? The fact that one of the things that Facebook allows us to do is to surround ourselves with people who think the same things and who say the same things, so that we feel really good about ourselves and like, oh my God, everybody agrees with me. Right. I must be right.
Yeah.
Right? And that's why, like you said, that my Facebook, or one of you said that my Facebook posts are always like, you know, World War III going on. And that's very, very intentional. I think I've blocked or unfollowed or whatever. I never blocked somebody, but I've unfollowed, I think, 3 people in my Facebook history, because I want voices from all sides to fill my timeline.
Absolutely.
Right? Because don't get me wrong, Donald Trump, I think he's a piece of shit person.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't call him a good president, but my priorities are different for some other people's.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not going to say he hasn't done some good shit. All right? Because he's done some good shit.
Yeah.
I just think his bad shit outweighs his good shit.
For sure.
But I only know about the good shit that he's done because I have some really hardcore conservative friends who bring up some really good points and arguments.
Like,
and like, well, this is going to happen this
yeah.
way. And it's like, well, that doesn't affect me, but I understand why it's good for you.
Yeah, exactly.
So I can understand why you like that and why you support him and everything, and that's fine. Again, it goes back to empathy. If you can't put yourself in somebody else's shoes, you can't start to understand that person. And the only way to do that is to actually talk to them.
Yeah.
So fucking get off the Facebook, turn off your TV, go outside, find somebody that has an opposing view, and hash it out and just talk. And you may not agree at the end of it, but you'll have a much better understanding of why